don't stutter. I don't stutter when I talk. I've said he's been out. He's not doing anything what he's supposed to be doing.
He's going to get some shit tonight. Let me tell you that. There's nonsense he's been coming out with. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm ready for him tonight.
I must admit, I saw Tobes and Matisse had quite a lot of fun with him. Yes, him and Turkish, I think, yesterday at the final whistle.
No, well, he deserves it, mate. You can't be saying them mad shit on the big six because there's no hiding place in it. But listen, people, welcome back to the show. We are the South Stand. How is everybody doing, boys? You okay? Feeling good?
Yeah, so, mate. So
everyone having a smile on the face
couldn't
today.
Be better after that result.
Yeah, man, I tell you. It was a mad one. I felt the pressure yesterday. I can't lie. Yeah. Like, I'm driving down there in the car and I'm thinking to myself, realistically, without having the sky blue shades on, if we lose, we got to really say we're not going to do it because the team's been far inconsistent, and obviously the Tottenham game was a disappointment 2-2, but we didn't lose, and the fire I think has got into everyone's belly, and the fan base seems to be like whoosh, you know, let's have it again. You know what I mean? So
it looked that way yesterday from what I saw. I was going to ask you about that because it looked from what I've seen online, as in kind of obviously people that I follow, and I wanted to get your view on it. It seemed like even in the pubs beforehand that, I don't know, that feeling was back.
No, it was. I mean, we got in the break early doors and the pub was full, city and that, and we did a bit of a march. Usually you can't do these marches because the police are on you, but the police was nowhere to be seen. So to be honest, we had a right free run right through Stanley Park. No Miver, great banter. Walked past one of their boozers, loads of abuse flying about and that. Have you ever seen Gerrard win the league? You know what I mean? Steve Gerrard, all that was coming out. Good crack, really. But everyone seemed up for it. But then when you were walking around the pub speaking to people, they were all going, no, we get beat. We never win at Anfield. But there was one or two. I mean, I felt confident all week. I don't know where I got it from. It just felt different. I felt like we were really under pressure and backed into a corner. And I think City do well like that.
It's interesting that people were feeling optimistic because I went and did my prediction. And I said that my most optimistic result that I was going to predict was 1-1. And I spoke to a few Liverpool fans as well, and they were saying that at worst that Liverpool are going to get a draw. So to go and get a win at Anfield in the way that we did was absolutely massive. Just thinking, do you lot think that we can go and, you know, this is going to be a bit of a sliding doors moment for this squad?
I feel like I don't know. This yesterday, how I felt was we just beat Liverpool at Anfield. Right, it didn't even really come into my head anything else. It was more, we've just beat Liverpool at Anfield. Right now, someone said something to me earlier in the season, towards the start of the season, when I looked at when we had to play Liverpool, and they said to me, and Steve, you're gonna probably you're good at quizzes, right? Have City ever really had to, have City ever had to go to Anfield and win in the league?
No, we've never won there. Only in the COVID season. Like I say, I think we've been there. We've never. We've been in title races with Liverpool, but we've never had to go there and put a marker down. We've never done it.
What about the game where Riyad Mahrez ballooned it over the bar?
That was the only chance. We should have won it.
And I remember that moment being like so. You know, obviously it was terrible, but was that not like what was I can't remember the context behind that. Was that not like a must win at Anfield? Because we would have been in a title race with Liverpool at that point.
When?
You know, when Riyad Mahrez ballooned it over the bar at Anfield.
No, because I'm pretty certain because it was so early in the season that this is what I mean. That there's been times, of course, we've played Anfield multiple times, but it's often not been in the back end of the season. It's often we go to often it's at the Etihad at the back end of the season, I think. But
yeah, the Etihad one was Leroy Sané scored. That was a must-win one. We needed to get that one back. We've played him in the Champions League as well, and we didn't do well then. So it's just one of them hoodoo grounds. But I was confident. I don't know where it came from, but I said to everyone that was saying to me in the concourse we get beat, I was like, "Nah, we'll win today." And they were like, "What, at Anfield?" And I went, "It's got to break at one point. It's got to happen." And then half time, like I was talking to Cheeseman's blog, and he's out there now, Ian Cheeseman, big up Ian Cheeseman, and I said the same. I was like, I'm pretty calm. Like, I felt City did all right. This is not the same Liverpool team under Jurgen Klopp. You know, Mo Salah's not the same. Van Dijk's not the same. But we'll get into
Salah's definitely not the same. Yeah,
I will get into the game. The lineup was pretty. I think everyone was pretty happy with the lineup, bar maybe Cherki not being in there or Foden not being in there. Looking around, Nico O'Reilly being in centre midfield surprised a lot of people. But obviously he played fantastic. Mark Gay coming in and Cousinov instead of Ruben Diaz. You know, that could have been one where you maybe looked at it a little bit. But overall, the lineup was quite happy. And I don't know if you guys noticed this yesterday. There was definitely some tactics going on with Erling Haaland pulling Van Dijk over to the right of the pitch. So there was loads of gaps in the middle where Erling's usually knocking around in that centre bit looking for that bendy run. So he didn't. He was standing to the further right over. And Van Dijk was following him over. And then Mamouche was tucking over to the left. And there was a massive gap right down the middle. So whether City had decided that this was something's going to happen. But I knew early on Liverpool was struggling to know what was going on with that, whether to let Van Dijk leave Haaland there. But then Semenyo was coming on the inside and using that gap. So Haaland was getting used for something different yesterday. But I thought first half City got the tactics spot on. We created chances. We looked quite steady. We had a lot of control of the ball. And first half, I thought we dominated the game. What do you think, Louis?
Yeah, I think we definitely dominated in the first half. It was the beginning of the second half, or the majority of the second half, where I started to get really nervous because.
Hold on.
No,
Why
listen. Listen.
Why can't you enjoy the first half performance?
Listen to what I'm going to say. So the second half is where I started to get a little bit nervous, but it's the same thing that we've seen from like City, where we go and put in a solid performance in the first. It's like against Spurs as well. Obviously, we did really well in the first half. Everyone was going to think it was going to be a whitewash, and then we failed to continue it in the second half. But something was different in that second half today, and I don't know what that was. I don't know if you guys can put your finger on what was different, because it felt like all of a sudden we had a bit of a spine and a bit of fight about us in that last 15 minutes.
I feel like ultimately Bernardo Silva, when he scored the goal, that like his reaction, that told me what it was. The way he went and picked up the ball and took it back. They knew, right, that goal, a draw was not enough. And it was mad because I said before the game that if you offered me a draw, I'd take it, but I know that a draw is not good enough, right? And it wasn't, and that's the difference yesterday. I think we wanted it that much. I think we've been saying for a while we need to see some fight from this squad, right? We needed, and it was fight. It was, bro, like we were out of that title race. Like Steve said, Steve was on the way there, and the mad thing is, this is where fans and players are aligned. Is a thing, right? And the fact that Bernardo was thinking exactly the same. A draw is not good enough, and we actually even Haaland. But I think the lineup in the first half was good, and I think we definitely controlled the first half. Really controlled it. We struggled to make. We struggled to make clear-cut chances. I mean, there was maybe the Haaland one in the opening couple of minutes. But just to go back to something you said, Steve, about Haaland, I agree with you on the Haaland and the Van Dijk thing, right? And it's not the first time that I've seen in recent weeks that we're pinging balls over the top and Haaland is winning headers, winning knockdowns and finding players, right? And then I'm seeing at the end of games, because Haaland hasn't scored, people are saying Haaland was rubbish again today. And I'm kind of thinking, hold on a second. But it's like Pep's asking Haaland to do something slightly different. And Haaland was winning a lot of those headers yesterday. It wasn't his fault that then after that, we were lacking the creativity. It wasn't Haaland always. I think Haaland's not been as clinical, but I actually think off the ball, Haaland's been quite good.
No, listen, he set the goal up at Tottenham. People, don't remember that. Someone in the chat there, Steve, Erling Haaland should not have started. He was cat VVD, had him in kindergarten. Don't let the last 10 minutes cloud your judgment. You clearly haven't got a fucking clue what you're talking about, mate, because, Erling Haaland set up Bernardo Silva's goal. Yeah.
Yep. Facts.
Erling Haaland stepped up to so it doesn't matter about the last 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Omar Mamouche, everyone's been screaming out for the last few games. Omar was okay. But if Erling Haaland bottles that one-on-one with Alisson and gets out the way, what's everyone saying about that? But Omar Mamouche is allowed to just let that slide. Omar's ass fell out. He didn't want to know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we don't need to get on everyone's back because it's not about that. But first half, we were the better side. We didn't take our chances. Second half, Liverpool stepped it up. They pressed a little bit higher up the pitch. They started to get momentum. And one thing that they did get, they got the crowd going again. If you let the crowd get on top of you at Anfield, it's a fucking long day. We needed to bring that crowd back down. The goal from Szoboszlai wasn't even a free kick. Have you noticed our match of the day and all them shithouse channels never shown the challenge? It wasn't even a free kick, so it shouldn't have been a free kick anyway. Great goal by Szoboszlai, fantastic free kick. I think we all agree that you can't do anything about that. It was unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was a case of we either feel sorry for ourselves and go out with a whimper, or we have a go. And like you say, I've got to give Pep credit as well for changing it, because Rayan Cherki sets up that goal as well with a cross to Haaland, and Rayan Cherki also puts Núñez in. So he's only been on the pitch 10 minutes. He's done two things. And somebody said to me before the game, Pete Murray, a big blue bomber, fair play to him. He said to me, I ain't got a problem with Cherki not starting these games, Steve. I think late on in the game, this is where Cherki comes on when things are opening up a little bit and he starts to work his magic. And he was spot on. We've got them options. If you looked at our bench yesterday compared to Liverpool's bench, they didn't have a lot to change. We did.
Yeah, great.
So that's where I think we got the win from, because we just changed it a little bit.
I think speaking on individuals.
Good evening. Just stick the name up. I've changed my name, by the way.
Huh?
You know, when you get the names at the bottom. Good evening, Steve. Good evening, Louis.
Right,
you see, there you go.
Mate.
That's my new name.
Good.
Champions incoming, yeah?
That's my new name.
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
I was just going to say, touching on individuals, Mark Guehi yesterday showed some real fight as well. I was saying that it was like early Ruben Diaz when he came in, throwing his body on the line, blocking everything. And I think that, it was really good to see that back in the defence. I think maybe him and Diaz are going to have a great partnership, because obviously Diaz featured at the end as well. But Mark Guehi really needs to take his plaudits for that game, because I thought he was sensational.
You know what? Especially where, I think that's where, when the two players that we bought in January, right, Semenyo and Guehi, both Premier League. It's not like last January. It was different. We went and bought two Premier League proven players, right? And I think with Mark Guehi, that's what you've seen. It's someone that is experienced. It's someone that, by the way, his record, I believe, against Liverpool is absolutely phenomenal. And he was at Anfield getting booed non-stop. I don't know why. Why were they booing Semenyo so much and Guehi so much, and Semenyo didn't get one boo? But
because they were going to sign him, wasn't it? He'd agreed to sign for them.
It's so pathetic, that, isn't it?
It apparently he should have stayed, shouldn't he? Not signed for City and joined them on a free transfer.
But I think the thing with Guehi was it's just the way he's landed at City, and it's everything about his game. The way he silenced them, they were booing him non-stop. He just looks like a Rolls-Royce player. I think him and Kuzanov look really, really good. But also going back to Steve mentioned Cherki, I think when I saw Ruben Diaz come on, that's the difference. Think where we were, a month ago? We're having to bring on fucking Max Aline, right? Now we're bringing back Ruben Diaz on.
No disrespect on Max Aline, by the way.
No, bro. He's done a phenomenal job. Came in and did a phenomenal job. But there's a difference that we're having to recall someone from Watford, and that's our player off the bench to see games out. Whereas back having Ruben Diaz come on, and straight away he's coming on, you can hear him shouting like on corners, telling everyone where to be, like he hasn't been gone.
He brings something different to Kuznetsov, doesn't he? Obviously Kuznetov's amazing, I absolutely love him, but he's got, I think that's just experience and more maturity and leadership.
Kuzanov will be a monster. Kuzanov will be a monster in a few years' time. We know what he had. He was very, very raw. I always said that. People said to me, "You don't like Cousinov." I was like, not that I don't like him. I just feel like at the minute for a title-winning City team, we couldn't rely on him. But he got thrown in the deep end the last 6 or 7 games, and he doesn't look out of place. So now myself, I can take a step back. Me now, if Cousinov's in the side, if he's alongside Mark Gay or Ruben Diaz, and think, you know what, we're all right. Whereas before that, when it was Cousinov and Max Lane, like at the derby and that, we all know that's not good enough to win them big games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
United could have been 5-6-0 up against us that time, but we've tightened it up. Mark Gay is. Somebody said to me in the crowd yesterday, Steve, he's like Keith Curl. He's calm on the ball. I was going to say what a top shagger, but I didn't want to say it. But no, he's
it was like Keith Curl tonight.
Yeah, Keith Curl's like like
you got a penalty.
Calm, you know what I mean, on the ball and that. And I get it. He does bring a level of calmness, and I like his range of passing. He's not frightened to have that dink over the top, and he's not frightened to slide it into that area where Ruben Diaz and Josko Gvardiol don't quite want to put it. You know what I mean? So
he's got a bit of John Stones about him, dare I say.
Yeah.
A little bit of John Stones, a little bit of Ruben Diaz. You know, he's like a perfect professional.
Hang on, we've gone from Keith Curl to John Stones to Ruben Diaz. We're going a bit all over the gaff there.
Got a bit of everything.
I can't confirm me.
Said the same yesterday. Look, Keith Curl has said the same thing.
Me and Steve have different memories of Keith Curl being in Main Road. I'm telling you now, we have very different memories.
Yeah, I bet you thought Kit Simons was good, didn't it?
I actually did. I actually did think Kit Simons was good.
We've definitely got fucking different memories than me and you.
Hey, Scott Hiley was my guy. I loved him when he was putting balls over the top. Sorry.
But no, it was really good. And like you say, I've got to say Nico O'Reilly in midfield.
Yeah.
He didn't look out of place. Very, very energetic, put a shift in. A couple of nice bits of footwork when he was trapped down that side and he rolled it round a couple. And Ait Naori has shocked me a little bit.
Yeah,
because
same.
what I'd seen of him early in the season, I didn't think he was really up for certain games. He was not really, he kept coming off with little niggles and that. And I thought, who've we signed here? But I tell you something, he looks like the last few games he's got the bit between his teeth and he looks confident down that side. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's shout out to City of Angels, who's actually saying Ait Naori and O'Reilly undroppable. I agree with you. For me, I know Gay, he had a great game. But I don't know. I guess because he is a bit more experienced, I was shocked at how good O'Reilly was yesterday. Because
so was that saying get a left back, Daps? Buy a left back. Was that
no? The super chat's saying Ait Naori and O'Reilly undroppable. He's saying they're undroppable. Appreciate the super chat. But no, with O'Reilly, I just think if we really sit here and look at O'Reilly, I think we all know we've got a gem, but I think it's becoming more and more apparent just how fucking good this player is. You got to remember, right? He is and weirdly, where he played yesterday actually is probably the closest to his actual position that he might have played at City. But he's come in, he's been played at left back, right? And then probably about 5 games ago, he started to be played kind of in a DM type role. And then yesterday at Anfield, he's kind of told, we want you to... I don't even know what role he was in yesterday, O'Reilly.
He was cropping up all over the place,
O'Reilly. He was just everywhere. It was 1 minute he was down the left, linking up with Ait Naori. Next minute he was driving through the middle. I think O'Reilly yesterday for me was, although Gay, he probably was the man. Oh, in fact, no, Bernardo was man of the match, right? Was it Bernardo?
Yeah.
But I thought O'Reilly he's one player, man. And the difference is his strength. He's so damn strong on the ball. Liverpool couldn't get the ball off him because he's technical, but he's very, very, very strong as well. And is making. Someone said in the comments earlier that they suggest, and a few people have been suggesting O'Reilly in midfield. And I admit I've been shutting it down, saying no, I don't think he's ready. He's good as a left back. Leave him there. But now I'm watching him. I think he's undroppable at the moment for me, O'Reilly.
Yeah, I just think it's mad how seamless the transition's been. Even when he came into the side, when he was being integrated into the side, it seemed so seamless the way he just fit in. Yeah. And now going into the midfield as well, obviously that's more of his natural position than left back. but the way it's happened at the top level as well, and that performance game at Anfield as well, it's so seamless. And that also speaks volumes about Aït-Nouri as well, because he was so good yesterday.
Yeah,
you
he was very good.
You wouldn't really been able to tell that much had changed from, O'Reilly and Aït. Obviously, they play slightly different ways, but I just think it speaks volumes about him. His maturity, he's playing beyond his years. He's unbelievable. It just seems like the pressure doesn't get to him, does it? It's like it just doesn't faze him.
No, he was driving with the ball, and I feel like maybe it was asked of O'Reilly and Aït-Nouri, and I actually want to say as well, Núñez on the right hand side was good as well. But all three of those, without Cherki, become very important to how creative we are, because ultimately they're the ones that are doing the creating. If you haven't got Cherki on the pitch and Doku, without Doku, Cherki and Foden, you're then looking at your fullbacks to do all the creating. I thought those three were probably our best players.
I do think we're missing Doku a bit. I'll be happy when he comes back into the side. I think he brings something that no one else brings to City in terms of that electricity and creating down that left-hand side.
Well, I'm going to ask Steve a question on that, because they call Bernardo the Rat because he has rattled the Liverpool fans for the past 8 years. He's El Capitano, up the Blues, huge win for us. Bro, yeah, Steve, you must have seen quite a few angry Liverpool faces. When Bernardo scored, did they look even worse? Because they ate him, didn't they?
Oh, they were fuming. They ate him, yeah. Because of he had the milk and 2 sugars and a little bit of cream and just didn't give a fuck, stirred it up while he was doing it. But this is what I said on my stream a few weeks ago about Bernardo Silva, people getting on his case. Bernardo Silva has been outstanding this season. He knows he's not the player he was. He knows he's not going to deliver them numbers and assists. But what he has done is has adapted his game to suit what he's needed. We needed energy in the middle of the park, and he brings energy. He brings aggression. He brings shithousery. He brings passion. He wants to win for Manchester City. He's been here for 10 years. He's a fucking legend of a player. And like you say, if people look at him and think, hold on a minute, he's supposed to be finished and he's running like this, we need to up our game. And if a lot of them players, especially the younger ones, need an example in this team to look at, you look at Bernardo Silva. He never hides. Bernardo Silva, when he chips it down at Man City, he's played left back, he's played right back, he's fucking been wandering around as a centre back, he'll play up front, he'll literally do anything for the team. So for me,
Steve, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
What did you do? What did you bring to this team?
Exactly. They don't know though, did they?
That's all I keep hearing everywhere. What did you bring to this team?
The people that say shit like that, the fools at the end of the day, the fools, the FIFA fucking merchants that think he's got to go and score all these goals. But a football team, you need team players. You need players that go under the radar, and you need leaders. Bernardo Silva has dragged this. You look at the game against Real Madrid a few years ago. Bernardo Silva, big goals at Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? He scored big goals in big games. He's a man that we need.
He still finds the way as well. Like you say, his legs might have gone a little bit, but he still finds a way, and that's what you need in a side like this, especially when it's such a young squad as well. You need the likes of a Bernardo Silva,
and 100%, because he knows what going to Anfield is about. He's done that. He's been there. He's done that, and even. I'll always remember that Fernandinho and Bernardo Silva performance against what for me was the best Liverpool midfield of when it was Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and they just didn't let them get the ball. Just did not let them get the ball. Absolute players. Steve, I wanted to ask you a question on and people, if you're in here, the likes aren't at 100 yet, which is rubbish. Please, can you make sure you're smashing the like button? Sorry.
Can I just say, before you speak to Steve, I've got to shoot off because I'm going to work. So I'll see you lot in a bit. Nice to see you all.
Nice one, Lewis.
Nice to see you, Lewis.
See you later, lads. Nice one.
Steve, question for you. What do you think of Semenyo yesterday?
I don't think he had a great game. I feel like because he scored goals for us straight away, people are going to think he's fantastic. Yeah. But it's always going to be hard for him because I said before, when he wasn't my ideal signing, I didn't think he was good enough. And then he's come in, he scored goals, he's given us a different option, that's fine. But there's going to be games like that. It's a big step up to go from Bournemouth to Manchester City, to go from Bournemouth ticking along being the main man to go into a title race. I think Pep's got some good ideas for him. I feel like him coming in, getting in the box from out wide, I don't think we have anyone that does that well. So he's going to be doing that. I think he can eventually play behind Haaland at some point. I think he can play instead of Haaland at some point. So, listen, I'm not going in on him, but I thought yesterday he wasn't that good. Even Mamouche, I thought Mamouche let us down a little bit with the Alisson thing. But I think the forward line of Haaland, Mamouche, and Semenyo causes people a lot of problems. You know what I mean? Anywhere else you go in, that causes people a lot of shit.
I feel like yesterday, especially in that first half, I don't feel like Liverpool knew how to play against us, right? Because, I kind of get it. You're up against a team that have got Haaland, Semenyo, and Marmoush, right? And it kind of does make sense to what you were saying as well, because I do think Semenyo is a really, really interesting one. That all we've been asking for the last 18 months is a winger that gets us goals, right? We've now got a winger that gets us goals, but he's not as creative as Doku, and he doesn't beat his man like Doku. So then it's like, right. And we just have to accept that I think with Semenyo, I think where yesterday was a bit difficult was, again, because Cherki wasn't there, because Foden's not in form, and because Doku wasn't there, that we were maybe looking at Semenyo to be a creator. And I don't think he is a creator. But I don't know. The one thing with Semenyo and Marmouche, I think they have got is they work their arse off. And their press is, it's. Remember when we had Gabriel Jesus, how much he used to press? He used to just chase that ball down. Huh? Yeah. I think Semenyo's a bit like that, but maybe a bit more clinical, potentially.
He's definitely clinical. You don't get 12 Premier League goals this season if you're not clinical.
Yeah,
I think he's 100% clinical. I think for me it's too. I think the problem is so hard, isn't it? When a player comes in January and they got the reputation and the season, the position we're in, they're not going to get the time that we've given other players to come in and develop.
Well, because they're in a title race, I guess they've thrown
exactly what I mean. You're coming straight into a title race, and there's no sort of forgiving in it. But to me, it's far too early to judge Semenyo. I thought he was a bit poor yesterday. Thought he was poor. But I don't think he suited the role he was given.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't think he is that sort of creative guy.
No, he's not. He's not.
I think if you put him in the false nine situation, I think he'd do a job bob on, but I don't think you could put him in a sort of 10.
Nah, and he was kind of in a 10. That was the thing.
Like, it work.
Yeah, that he, like Steve said, he probably can do the Haaland job through the middle. But the 10 role is a bit different, right?
It's weird because he has got something we lack. He's got strength and he bodies people.
Yeah.
Do you know what we've got? And I said to you today, we've got like 4 or 5 players that one does that job, one does that job, one does that. We don't seem to have one that seems to do everything, like put all 5 bits together, and you've got this top player. We seem to have players that one can do the bodying, one can do the creating, one can do the scoring. We don't seem to have one that does everything.
I feel like it's you used to get Liverpool with Mo Salah. They used to spray that diagonal ball and they'd put Salah one-on-one with the fullback. I think that's where we need to get the ball as quick as we can over to Semenyo, so he's got that chance to go one-on-one. Because if he cuts inside or goes on the outside, he has got that turn of pace, and the shot he's got on him is ridiculous.
Yeah,
so what we do sometimes, we build the play up that slow. By the time it gets to Semenyo, he's got 3 or 4 in front of him, so it's got to come back. You know what I mean? I think if you watch Liverpool's second half yesterday, they got the ball up the pitch a lot quicker. We found ourselves chasing around. Ekitike could have got in a couple of times. Salah got in, but that's because they bypassed the midfield and went a little bit longer. And I think that's what's going to happen with Semenyo. But it's going to Pep will find somewhere for Semenyo, and then it'll be somewhere where he'll thrive, and I'm sure he'll going to end up a great player for us.
What was the mood like after the game, Steve? Was it?
Everyone was buzzing, mate.
Was it just, but like, was it more we've just won at Anfield type buzzing, or was there a this could be the start of something type?
I think both. I think this season we've been let down a few times. We've gone to games where we were hoping for a big performance. We've been let down. We drew at Sunderland. We was at home to Brighton and we drew. We were 1-0 up against Chelsea, 3 points in the bag, we drew. Then we went to Old Trafford looking for a little bit of pride, got beat, hammered. Then we went out on a Wednesday night to Bodo Glimt thinking, well, at least we're going to put it right in Bodo Glimt, got battered. Bayer Leverkusen at home, we changed the team thinking it's a routine win, got battered. So there's been a lot of games where we've been like, come on, we deserve better. So seeing us go to Anfield and do that, I think everyone just got that little bit of fire. And we're just hoping now that the players can transfer that to Wednesday night and then carry on with this run. If we can get the bit between our teeth now, it's like a little bit of a fire under the fans and the players. And if we can pull it together, we just got to go on a run and see if we can just see where we can get to. Because I believe Arsenal will drop points somewhere. But the odds on Man City dropping points as well, it's quite high too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think be interesting now that look. I think you're right. I think Kuzanov's done a commendable job, and I do think that Kuzanov's ceiling is so high. I think we're watching him grow as a player at a very fast pace. But Ruben Diaz leads our line, and I don't care. Like, I'm so bored of the conversation when people try and say, "Oh no, Ruben Diaz and Kuzanov's better than Ruben Diaz." In no world. Now, I actually think Guéhi and Kuzanov could work, but I think Guéhi and Ruben Diaz really, really works. Now that all of a sudden, now the fact that we do have Ait Nouri or O'Reilly on the left-hand side, like we've got options there. And actually, what this also does mean that if Núñez does need a rest, potentially, remember, Kuzanov has played right back a couple of games this season, so we now have actually options as a right back. Rodri
in the cup next week. It's a perfect opportunity to play. You know who you need to play in there. You know.
Yeah, and the other thing as well that, you know, I think Gonzalez has been phenomenal this season, and I was starting to think over recent weeks maybe I'm gone like right now with where Rodri is. I'd play Gonzalez in this game over Rodri, but I think Rodri had a really good game yesterday as well. Really good
rhythm, and we know that people from the outside are throwing stones at him. He's not the same player, etc., etc. Well, he will be. He's just been thrown right in the fucking deep end, and he's having to get about like he used to do. And he's probably got a little bit of something in the back of his head. He's probably feeling a few niggles from injuries elsewhere. But I think he'll get a break, like you say. Even Fulham game on Wednesday night, he might not play him, or he might put Nico in there. He just needs some sort of protection. We've seen him get exposed a couple of times, but O'Reilly was in and about him, and Bernardo was in and around him. So I'm feeling we looked all right, but sometimes he does look exposed. But I reckon Kuzanov, Diaz could come in for Fulham. Kuzanov could play right back if he need to, but Núñez he's no problem playing right back. We need to start getting Odoku back if he's fit. John Stones is back training. Do you know what I mean? Savinho will be back training in a couple of weeks. So it's going to be getting the players back at the right time, and it's how Pep manages it, because we've got a tough run. You know, we've got a tough run of games coming up, you know.
Yeah. So apologies there, I just disappeared. Yeah, that Arsenal-Brentford game, that...
As he froze again. He's froze, I think. He's going to talk about Arsenal.
Arsenal.
It's going to be a tough game for him, but I mean, you can't see... I can't see Brentford winning that, but you never know, you know what I mean? They're playing well at the minute. It's whether Arsenal could, you know. Yeah, they are in good form. Yeah, it's a tough place to go, isn't it? You know that yourself.
Well, it's the fact we get to put pressure on them on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
we get to put pressure on them Wednesday. We can close the gap to 3.
That's the mad thing, right? That is the mad thing that we. So sorry, I don't know what's going on. My network keeps going down today. We could have been going in. So Arsenal could have been going to Brentford 9 points clear.
Yeah.
Now there's a good chance, touch wood, that they're going to be going there with only 3 points, and that's a significant difference. Significant. I mean, it's a 6-point swing. Really,
mentally as well. That's mentally as well, because this is. I mean, I keep saying that it is. Yeah, I understand that we've been poor. I get it. But this is where I do sort of get confused, because then here this Arsenal are the greatest team in the world and they're going to be the greatest champs and they're untouchable. Then why is this crappy little City team doing so close to them every time then?
Yeah.
We're so bad and they're so good. I think the truth's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I feel like if if you keep trying to close the door and someone keeps putting their foot in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's kind of like, why are they doing this? And I don't know. I feel like yesterday, we needed it to be Liverpool away almost, right? We needed something to fucking get us really up for that game. Now, all of a sudden, things look different. And we've got to remember that they have to come to the Etihad. So, you know, they drop points at Brentford and fucking hell, the title race is really on. It really, and it seems so crazy because it could have been, they could have been 9 points clear, but they're not. And it could be down to, I mean, imagine if it's down to 4 points and they've got to come to the Etihad.
It could be. Listen, if you'd have said now, beginning of the season, that in February the 9th, you'll be 6 points behind Arsenal at the top. I think we're all taking that, aren't we?
Especially the fact that they've still got to come to the Etihad, yeah.
That's what I mean. We're taking it because it's our, even last season, the run for the Champions League, the last 10, 11, 12 games, we were outstanding, you know what I mean, going into it. So we just got to get the rhythm going. We got to get the momentum going. We got to get the fans there on Tuesday, on Wednesday night against Fulham. You know, we're having all these ticket dilemmas.
Do you want to speak about that, Steve?
Well, I just did it. I mentioned it on my show before. Loads of people coming up to me at the game saying, Steve, you're right. What you're saying about the tickets, it's a nightmare. I couldn't go the other night. I'm not transferring these tickets. I haven't got anyone on my friends and family. I don't know how to do it. I've even spoke to about 6 people that haven't even got season tickets on the phone. They've had to go and get electronic cards. So if the club deny and say that they don't do cards, they do, because some people can't work phones. You know what I mean? So I've even seen all that. So they've got to sort it out. I feel like the 1894 have done a really, really good questionnaire that they put out. And I'm encouraging all City fans to fill that in. It takes 5 minutes. Then they're going to process that and they'll go back to the club with the findings. So it's going to work. City Matters are doing their part as well, approaching the club. And the differences between us and other clubs is, if we want to protest, we will protest. It won't be violent protests. We won't have clown masks on and dicky bows and start breaking into the souvenir shop like other dickheads we know. But we'll do it right. And if it takes people to take the piss out of us on Twitter because of empty seats to finally get where we need to get to be, we'll get there where we get to be. So at the end of the day, we'll talk about it. We'll have a moan about it. The club will have a moan about it. And then there'll come some sort of common ground and we'll agree on some things and we'll get it done, because at the minute, the policy that's there for me is not working. I do believe that they need to issue more proper season tickets for a lot of the local fans, because I feel like we've skipped a generation of fans that haven't been able to take the kids to the game regular. It's all right having the odd game here and there, but I mean, we all know lads now that are old enough, and they say, "Oh, if a season ticket come available now, I'd get 2 for me and my lad, or I'd get 3 for me and my lad and my daughter." And that's what I believe needs to be done. You can still have your corporate sections, you can still have the day tripping people coming, no problem with that at all. But I just feel like if you want to breed this next generation through, you've got to bring in more season tickets.
Not going to change those, Steve.
I
don't even know that, and I'm not even giving up, but.
You sound like you're giving up, Martin. You sound like you're giving up, man. Don't give up.
No. I think my 2 nephews are them 2 sitting in the house stand and they're being moved.
Exactly. What they're being moved for, the city kitchen.
They went to a meeting on Tuesday. You know, the meeting that was on Tuesday at the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out and they said they're not going to do a thing.
Yeah, because they can't with that, because the building sections being built, whether you like
it. They're not going to do a thing about, because in their eyes, Steve, you know what they told them all? We are releasing 4,000 season tickets. Because in their head, they believe those flexi goals are season tickets.
Yeah, it don't work, does it?
They think it is. So they shut the whole combo down. There was one, I'm not going to name the names, but she said, do you know the excuse they gave on the Galatasaray of all the empty seats on Galatasaray? What? Safety issue is what they came out with.
I know they cancelled a lot of hospitality that was Galatasaray.
Safety.
See, do you know? So Martin, the thing is, right, that Manchester City before 2008 had a capacity of 41,000. Right.
Yes.
we are about to have a capacity of 60,000. That means an extra almost 20,000 fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you take a club like Chelsea as an example, before Chelsea got bought out, they had 39,000. They now have 40,000. They've found an extra 1,000 fans. Now, this is a reminder, and I live down south, so I can tell you this factually, right? If I go to London any day of the week, any time of the day, it's busy, right? Tourism in London is 24/7. That is why all London clubs can sell out their ground very, very easily, right? Week in, week out, because there's tourists there. And most importantly, by the way, on weekdays, yeah? Wednesday nights, Tuesday nights, right? Because in London, firstly, the wage is more. Secondly, tourism is there every single day. Now, if I come to Manchester on a weekday and I try and get food in a restaurant after the game, by the time I've walked back, every restaurant's shut in the week. Why? Because there's no tourism in Manchester. And of course, when I say there is some element of tourism.
There's not that high demand than what there is in London.
In London, it is every... And firstly, reminder again, as someone that's looking for a job at the moment, the pay in London is substantially higher, firstly. Secondly, you've got tourists that will go to every single game, right? Just because they're in, people come and stay in London for 3 weeks, right? They'll go to Manchester for the weekend, right? It's they're worlds apart. We've gone, and for me personally, the club, they've seen the jump of 20,000 fans. Phenomenal, right? Absolutely phenomenal on big games, right? But midweek games, it's making us look embarrassing, and it's watering down the product, right? It's very simple that if they continue to allow this stadium to have empty seats, it's only going to get worse, because all of a sudden there's no, it's not prestigious to go and watch Manchester City play anymore. They need to get hold of it. And for me personally, someone said to me, oh, so do you think they should sell tickets for cheaper midweek? And I said, absolutely. Or even more so, go to the schools, right? Go to the schools and give them to the young kids.
They go to them. Is it schools in Scotland they go to?
Scotland, yeah.
No, they need to go to schools in Manchester, Bolton, Wigan, wherever.
Exactly. Going to schools in Scotland on a midweek game is absolutely insane. And it's just, I hate to say it, but it's just clueless from the club. They need to, like Steve said, it's like there's a generation of Manchester City fans that are being skipped at the moment.
You just can't get season tickets for your kids. And if you're doing it every game, trying to get a ticket for you and your 2 kids for every game, you know yourself that's draining. This website, memberships, it's draining. One game you've got to have a membership for. The next game you can only buy 1 ticket. You can't have a membership. Then you've got to have a history of a thing to attend. So for a kid to go every single game, it's not possible. It costs you a fortune in today's world. That's why for me they need to bring back them season tickets, get the local fans back on board, and do it that way. The thing that's bothering me about the South Stand, at the North Stand, with that corporate thing, what Martin's on about, you know yourself, in corporate, every corporate section in that ground, the Legends Lounge, the Citizen Suite, the Mancunian, the Tunnel Club, everything, half-time kicks off. All of them sections are empty because everyone's finishing a beer or finishing the food, yeah?
Yeah,
we're going to be shooting second half next season towards the North Stand, where there's going to be a large section behind the net, which is going to be fucking empty. Now that's like Liverpool putting the Cop kitchen in the Cop and charging everyone a premium, and then Liverpool kick off the second half against the Cop, and it being empty. It won't be allowed. So which dickhead in the club has thought that that's a really good idea? Let's do that without consulting the fans first. And I know any fan's going to moan when you get moved. I get that. But being moved for something like that is a fucking joke.
So, do you know what's embarrassing more? This is why I don't believe it is price. Because, for example, Salford's what? So I'm just on the website now. So Salford City, which you know is not the most glamorous, but if you want a cheap ticket, you want to take, say, a couple of kids and your wife or your husband or whatever, you're never going to get it cheaper than what you'll get for City versus Salford.
Yeah.
No.
To get a family there. I mean, tickets are 25 quid max. Some areas are 17 quid. Some areas are 30, which I get. There are thousands available still. Thousands.
So
Can
I don't buy the price part either.
Sorry, can I just on this as well? The City of Manchester's lowest capacity when City took over was 47,000.
I was going to say that was 47.
Right. So we were taken over, correct me if I'm wrong, in September 2008, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, we moved into the comms in 2003.
Yeah. But we were taken over because I said before we were taken over September 2008. So I'm looking at the 2007 and 2008 season, not the 2008 and 2009 season, the 2007, the 2008 season. That was 42,100. So apologies if I was out by 1,000. But that's what I'm saying. When a club gets taken over, and they spend a lot of money, of course your fan base goes up. We instantly went up by 6,000 in one season, clearly, from what you've just told me. But we are growing. That's the thing. But I personally think the club are at risk of all this great work it's
not just a City problem, it's a football problem. Tomorrow night, Tottenham are playing Newcastle at White Hart Lane. My mate's a Tottenham season ticket holder. He sent me a message before. There's 25,000 tickets available on the ticket exchange at Tottenham for that game tomorrow. 25,000 at Tottenham. It's on TV, BT Sport. So no one's going to want to go out in this weather and watch it. There's no Sonny anymore, so they're not propping it up with the tourism they used to get from the Korean lads. And Tottenham have got a problem now. So
they will massively. You're right with that, Steve. With the Son thing, that's going to impact them massively.
I understand the average spend of the supporter. They need to get it up, especially the northern clubs, because the southern clubs charge more. I think Tottenham's cheapest ticket tomorrow is something like 70 odd quid or something. They're saying, so it's mad. But we've got to stay in touch with the fans. We've got to stay in touch with the club, and they've got to listen to people. City fans do like to have a moan. And don't get me wrong, Martin will tell you this. There's a lot of City fans out there who fucking tell everyone they can't get a ticket, but if you offered them one for a £5, they'd still wouldn't go. So they like to moan, you know what I mean? But what we're trying to say is, I was one of the ones that was advocating for the open training session, right? And to fall in love with the kids, to fall in love with the players and see them. Our kids can't get an autograph in Manchester. You can't. You stand outside that training ground all day, you're not getting one. So they done it. It was a great idea, a great success. So many kids went away happy seeing the heroes and all that, fell in love with Man City. It's a cheap, effective way to do things. But the club, some people in the club will listen. They love it. That some people in the club are City fans and they get where we're coming from. But there's obviously business people in that football club as well that don't get where we're coming from, who don't give a shit if the stadium's empty.
Say as it is, Steve, it's Soriano. It's Soriano who's doing this.
Soriano, Disney Club.
And Aguero was Mickey Mouse.
Do you know what I got told? I got told, and again, it might have been from the meeting that you were talking about, Martin, but that I got told that basically, because of the amount of money they make on tickets when we do sell out, they don't mind about the games where we don't sell out. So,
no, they don't.
As an example, the expansion of 6,000, that's so that certain games next season, those 6,000 tickets are sold, and corporates are sold, and they make enough off of that to not even care about certain games. And I just think, well, firstly, it's our football club and we care, right? How we look. But secondly, as a businessman and as a business model, it's not the best business model, because surely if you can sell something, you'd sell it, right? You'd rather make more money than less.
The North Stand was sold as a blue wall. It was never going to be a blue wall. They were asking whether the South Stand would move to that stand. The South Stand is never moving to that stand. Everyone in that South Stand that likes a good piss up and a drink and all that, they're not going to have you staggering around that fucking North Stand like shopping mall, fucking off the tits when people are shopping. So to forget that. What should have happened?
It'll be like Newcastle last week, right?
Yeah, the North Stand should be right. This is where our packages and stuff are going. We've got the hotel. They can come out the hotel, have a meal in the hotel. They can come out the shopping mall at the back, whatever. Go in the north stand, do what they're doing. That should be your day experience. The kids are on the bottom.
Got your museum there.
Yeah,
and that's where everything's going in.
Right, but then change the south stand. Yeah, the whole south stand, all 3 levels, to your main supporting stand. The middle level of the south stand, which is corporate, scrape it all out. Yeah. Have that as your supporters section. Have a massive supporters bar in the south stand, which filters to all 3 levels. 15 minutes before kickoff, the music's turned off in the supporters bar. You go to your seats. Imagine bouncing out of the supporters bar straight into the stadium for the atmosphere. It'd be mint. But what they're doing is everyone's getting supercharged at Mary D's, then having to cross the road in the rain, walk 10 minutes across the road, get searched off some guy with a fucking radar, and then you come in the ground. By the time you get in there, you can't be fuck singing. They can't be arsed. They're getting another pint.
And you know what they do? They put a light show on. They have a young girl singing Blue Moon all on her own, and 9,000 Newcastle fans out sing her. And
that was terrible. That was terrible.
I felt for the poor girl. The poor girl sat there in the middle, singing away, trying to give it her all, and all the Newcastle fans just drowned her. And they didn't turn her up. They didn't put the volume up. They did nothing. They just literally left it out there to just die. Poor girl. It was embarrassing.
I do think that this questionnaire was good. They will get a vibe off that. And we've proved in the past that when we did do the protests, they did work. We did get cheaper tickets and we did get more season tickets, but it's not enough, So I feel like we'll get there with it. It won't take 20 years, but it'll get there with it. And I feel like
unfortunately there's a lot of long-standing Blues, because I'm in a group with people over this North Stand thing. Honestly, you've seen it across social media, the amount of long-standing Blues that are getting rid of their season tickets. Some have already done it now. They're not even waiting till the end of the season. They've gone now.
Yeah. And I think, Steve, what you said, I think it was yesterday morning when we spoke on the phone, spot on, that there's also a lot of legacy Manchester City fans, older Manchester City fans, right? That ultimately, like, they've got a season ticket and then they're being told, oh, this is how you, and someone tries to explain to someone that's older, you just can't be asked, right? With someone saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And that's the problem, that they're making it way, way, way too difficult. They're thinking, just give me my fucking season card back and let me do it that way. It's
just fucking mad. But they don't think of the bigger picture. If you got 100 City fans in a room of a certain era and said to him, how did you become a City fan? I bet 80% of them became a City fan because one day somebody had a couple of spare tickets and gave them to the granddad who took them, or the dad took them. And that's how it happened. And that's how it's happened for generations. But I just think this lack of season ticket thing, I just think it's mad. And so many people say to me all the time, I'd love a season ticket. I'd love a season ticket. Give them more season tickets. Fucking give them more season tickets. Yeah, you don't want fucking corporate. Do you know the Newcastle game? Viagogo couldn't even sell the tickets. They were selling corporate hospitality at Vermilion with a meal and a match ticket for 45 quid. Viagogo.
Just go for the food, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's 45 quid.
It's actually quite cheap for a Vermilion meal. And is that 3 quarters?
This is what I'm saying. Vermilion, that's cheap.
Are there any going on Valentine's Day?
Fucking hell, yeah. We're playing Salford on Valentine's Day, aren't we? So we could take it to the Vermilion and then to the match.
I'll tell you what, that's romantic, innit?
Salford
City in a pint. Let's go, love.
A date with Salford on Valentine's Day is massive.
I'll be there. Don't you worry.
But no, we've got a good run of back to the football now. We've got a good run of home games, a couple of home games. We get these wins together. I also think as well that result, when it comes to the cup final as well, we've had a few wins this season. If you think about it, right? The win at home against, because I think last season and I think the season before, we haven't been too great against the bigger clubs, right?
No.
But this season, we're starting to show that again. I mean, you think about it. We beat Real Madrid away.
Erling Haaland.
We've beat Liverpool away now.
Erling Haaland.
Well, and
Have you seen Erling Haaland's record, man? By the way, I've got to chuck this out, and I don't want to be a dick here, but all these people having to go at Haaland, I understand it. But, you know, like he's our top goal scorer, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, like we look at, you know, like he only does is score goals. All he does is score goals, yeah? This is what I'm told. Have you seen who's third in the assist league?
Erling Haaland, I bet.
Yeah.
It's not being spoke about enough, and it never does get spoken
Find
about.
Erling Haaland 1 assist behind Cherki, but he's a big, long, streaky piss that can't do now, can't kick a ball, can't chop a bag of sand, can't do now.
I hear it. It's like the first season, though, that even in his first season, Haaland got more assists than Harry Kane, right? But people are like, oh, apart from scoring goals, what does he do? And it's like, and by the way, some of Haaland's passes, there was one pass yesterday that was absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I think it was onto Marmoush. But now, shout out to Morgan Hardwick, who is coming through with the membership. Appreciated massively. I take it both of you are going to be at the game on Wednesday.
Yes. Unless Sky offer me $2,000 to go in a box, and I'll be there. So
Sky, you have my email. I'll take it. I don't care. I'll be shameless and take all the shit. $2,000 in my bank account. Thank you very much. I am a fake fan.
Well, someone was saying about, you know, all the when you were talking about, you know, we can't have all these posh people walking around and then all of a sudden South Stand entering in there. That was a box last week, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it was fucking mad, mate. It's mad. But no, yeah, it was. Yeah, we'll be there. We will be there. Salford as well at the weekend. We will be there. So, see what I mean? Look at that in the comment. $2,000, my ass. What do you want me to do? Show you the fucking invoice that they sent me? Because I can gladly do that, you little turd. You know what I mean? Fucking people. What did he think? For fuck's sake.
Well,
man.
do you know what? One thing that I can say, right? Steve, 3 days after he was at Sky, he was at Bodo, right? How many tickets did we get for Bodo, Steve?
440.
Okay, 440 tickets, and you managed to get one, right?
Yeah.
And you get that by going consistently week in, week out, week in, week out for how many years?
37.
It's mad, but you missed one game, and apparently.
Should I tell them what I did with the $2,000?
Yeah,
Newcastle on Wednesday night. Yeah, I bought a box in the Etihad for £2,000, and I took all my mates for free, and they all got pissed and ate all the food and had a great fucking time. So that is exactly what I did with the Sky money. So thank you very much, Sky Sports. You paid for 10 long-standing City fans to have the time of their life.
You reinvested it back in the club.
Yeah, I invested it back in the club.
Hey, there you go. So all you did is reinvest it back into the club anyway.
Yeah, probably spent more than half of these dickheads criticising have ever spent at the Etihad and never put.
So hang on a minute. So you gave Man U no money.
Give him no money.
And gave City $2,000.
But I give City $2,000. Yeah.
There you go then. But you're not a true blue.
I sold my soul to
Sky. But you're not a true blue.
I know exactly. I'm not a true blue.
I'm not being funny. Half of these dickheads wouldn't know where Main Road or the Etihad was with a bloody map in their hands.
I actually got told that Steve was contracted to Sky the other day. I was like, no, he's fucking.
I'm contracted to Sky. That's like,
apparently, me and Tom work for Manchester City's PR company.
Yeah, Sheikh Mansour pays for me to go to Dubai every January. I've told with the kids. I've just booked Abu Dhabi for August. Wait till they see me out there.
Right, people, we're going to wrap it up here. I will not be about tomorrow morning. I've got a couple of interviews, but I will be back on Wednesday. So thank you very much.
Yep.
I will try. I might do a show tomorrow night, but it depends. But hope everyone has a good evening. Make sure you
Steve already have jobs. It's Manchester City Football Club. Stadium, level 2.
Yeah, they don't pay for me to do anything. Right, people, we're on the way out. Oh, and of course, please do make sure you go over to Steve's channel as well, where Steve has dropped a video this morning. So I'm sure he's rubbing it in Liverpool faces that little bit more as well. So make sure you go over and check that one out. And we will be back tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.